What's up guys, my name is Michael and today we're going to be focusing on KingPad, one of the newest crypto gaming launchpads out there. So KingPad, as I said, is going to be focusing on crypto gaming. They're only going to be launching IGOs, initial gaming offerings, a little bit different than IDOs, initial DEX offerings, which I talked about in my previous videos. The cool thing with that is if you look at the whole market right now, a lot of attention is going towards the whole gaming scene, the whole play to earn gaming, or the NFTs that are attached to the games that bring utility into the games. Seeing a bit of a shift from the normal way of gaming that we know it into the blockchain gaming. So do you want to be a part of that? Yes, definitely. But more than that, you want to make sure that you're one of the first ones to participate in it because the real gains are always being made from the start. So that's where KingPad comes in. Now they're brand new, they haven't actually launched a single IGO yet, but we're gonna get a closer look at KingPad and see whether it's gonna be worth it or whether we expect it to be worth it to participate in KingPad, yes or no. Now obviously guys, don't forget this is just my personal opinion on things, so if you ever decide to get started yourself, make sure you do some research beforehand. Now if we look at the website, the person running KingPad is called Eclipse. He's also the guy running Memebet, and Memebet, as you can tell by the name, focuses on meme projects, right? The cool thing with him, something that he really specializes in, which you could tell by the way he launched the KingPad itself as well, is that he has a really cool way of ensuring a smooth and successful launch. We'll get into the launch of KingPad itself in a second, but every single time he launches a project himself or he's part of the way a project is launched, he makes sure that it runs very smooth. He has a very good strategy there, which is very important, of course, when you participate in an IGO. Why? Is because, well, the reason you want to participate in launchpads and in IDOs is because you want to be the very first in it and the cheapest way possible. So a smooth launch is obviously critical to do so. Now, we can't click on this yet, so the website still needs development over time because they're brand new. As we said, they're going to be focusing on gaming. They're going to focus on the metaverse scene that's going on in the world right now. One thing you can see here, introducing the Goblin Guild, is I think going to be a very cool thing. So the Goblin Guild allows crown holders, crown is the token of KingPad, to participate and play in launched games without requirements to purchase NFTs or in-game assets. I myself, I don't really participate in the games. I don't actually play the games. I'm in it for the money, but I do see a lot of cool games coming through, and I do understand that a lot of people do want to actually play the games. Now, right now, to participate or to play certain games, you need to buy the NFTs or you need to have certain in-game assets, which cost money, right? Sometimes the NFTs, they cost thousands of dollars for you just to be able to play the game. What I'm assuming this means is that if you hold that token, if you're participating in the launchpad, you're going to be able to play those games that are being launched on this launchpad for free, right? Which is a cool extra bonus on top of just participating in the launchpad. Here we can see the IGO tiers, so the tier system. Now the cool thing is with participating in launchpad, the sooner you're in, usually the cheaper it is to get a higher tier allocation, right? If we look at the three different tiers here, Goblin is the lowest one, only requires 50 crown tokens. Knight, the middle one, which gives you a 10 times bigger pool weight, 250 crown tokens, and the biggest one, King, 1500 crown tokens and gets the biggest pool weight. Right now, if we open up KingPad on CoinMarketCap, it is valued at $5. So what does that mean for your initial investment? 5 times 50, only $250 to participate in the launchpad in the lowest tier rank. 250 is $1,250, right, if I'm correct. And then the biggest one, King, is 1500 times 5, 75. So it's only $7,500 to get the highest tier allocation. Now, because they just started, because they haven't even launched the game yet, you can expect that when they do start launching and when they do have projects and the projects are actually successful, that the price is going to go up. So it's only going to get more and more and more expensive to get a higher tier allocation or to get a highest tier. So the sooner you're in, the cheaper it is. For only $7,500 for the highest tier. That's super cheap compared to other launchpads out there, right? In my previous video, I talked about Seedify, for example, why I still do believe that it's worth it to participate in it. But looking at that, you don't really get that high of a tier with Seedify because there's so many people in it already, because it is so much more expensive to get in. So you're participating with $7,500 in the lowest tier rank. Now that is a big bonus to get started with a new launchpad, in my opinion. I don't hold $7,500 worth of crown at the moment yet, but I do really want to get in. They announced today that they're going to be doing their first IGO soon. So I guess it is a good time to buy in. For me, at least, it is a good logical time to buy in now to be able to participate in their first IGO. You look at the tokenomics, the total amount of crown tokens is going to be 50 million in supply. Right now, they're only having 1 million in supply. Well, that's about it for the website. So we look at CoinMarketCap. You can see here, $5 per token. Market cap 5 million, fully diluted 250, which means if all the 50 million tokens would be going around in supply, there would be a market cap of 250 million, right? Now, look at the graph. So the graph here on CoinMarketCap is a little bit off, doesn't make sense. So what I did is I opened up here PooCoin to get the real proper detailed graph from KingPad. They opened up at 7 cents. So as I said before, Eclipse, the guy running it, he's very good at running smooth launches. Here you can see it opened up at 7 cents. The opening price was 7 cents. It was a fair launch, meaning everybody was able to participate at the same price. Everybody was able to buy in at the same price. But as you could have expected, it's not going to be at 7 cents for very long because people started buying in. I bought in myself as well. I actually tried to get in as fast as possible. My average buy-in price was $1.40. So I already had a 20x. I already paid 20 times more than the opening price with $1.40. So at the start, I thought it was pretty expensive, but then you saw the way it continued going up and up and up and up and up. I took my profit again because I wanted to buy in cheaper. I thought it was being clever. I took profit at $4, sold my total amount, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna buy in a little bit cheaper again. Definitely made a mistake there. Couldn't have known beforehand, but it only kept going up. At the peak, so it opened up at the 2nd of December, which has only been just over a week ago. At the peak, it was at $7.50, which was the next day. It actually reached over $7 on just the day after. So it did more than 100x on their launch within the first 24 hours, which is insane, right? Which is a massive, massive gain. So if you were one of the first ones to buy in, congratulations, you already had a massive gain on your initial investment just to buy the token. Now it dropped a little bit from the all-time high. It is valued at $5, just like we saw before. All right, so earlier today, they announced that their first ever IGO is coming up shortly, right? You can tell, I think it was at around 3 o'clock, so somewhere around here, that the announcement was on Twitter. Not what project is going to be, not exactly when, just purely that they're going to have their first IGO come up shortly. It went from 4.5 up to 5, so it had just over a 10% gain on that announcement in a couple of hours. Now you can tell it dropped down a little bit again, but it is fluctuating in between of the $4.5 to $5 roughly. Now, what are we going to do? Because do we need to buy in beforehand, before their first ever IGO has been, before their first ever sign of proof that their concept is working, or do we wait until after their first IGO? There's a couple of strategies that you can stick to in that way, right? What I'm doing is pretty simple. So I sold my crown tokens at the beginning already, took my profit in there. So I don't hold any right now and I want to buy in again. What I'm going to be doing is pretty simple. I'm just going to buy in the middle tier, 250 crown tokens at around $1,250. And I'm going to be participating in the first IGO. Why is I just like to be part of the first project. Also, if it does turn out to do well, you can expect that the token is only going to go up in price, right? So your initial investment, the $1,250, is obviously going to go up. Plus, you already participated in the first successful IDO, which is going to make you money. Now, that does mean that the price is going to go up, meaning that the king, so to get into the higher tier, is going to be more expensive. Now, to me, that's fine. I'm more than fine paying an additional $10,000 or $15,000 to get into the bigger tier rather than 7.5. If it turns out that what they're doing is solid, if it turns out that the projects are doing well. If the first project doesn't turn out to do as well, as successful as expected, the price will probably drop and it's going to be cheaper to go from the middle tier to the higher tier. So to me, that makes total sense. To me, that is a total win-win situation. The one thing that was holding me back a little bit so far was the staking period. So you need to obviously stake the amount of crown tokens that you have to be able to participate in the IGOs. So if you look at the actual pad or the Launchpad, here you can see that they do have a APY of 129%. So pretty big amount, a pretty large amount. In my previous video, I talked about the APY rate and the money that you get back from investing in Seedify. Now, same thing applies here. If you go to an APY calculator and you find out what type of money you actually earn back from staking your money for a certain period amount of time. It isn't compounded here, so it is, let's say quarterly, because it is a 3-month period going up from now. We got to stake it now up until the 9th of March. So it's roughly 3 months of staking. If we stake, let's say the $1,250, so the middle tier, and we do that for 3 months, we get back after the 3 months of staking at the current rate. So that's only assuming that the $5 per token will stay the same. You will get $1,537 back. So that's just over a $250 passive gain, right? If we will go for the higher tier, we will go for $7,500. We will earn just over $1,700 in passive income. So just over $600 a month in passive income by staking it. Now let's say it does go well, it doesn't go according to plan, the projects are doing well, well then obviously the price of the actual token is going to go up, which means you're going to gain on your initial investment, you're going to gain on the IGOs, plus you have that passive income gain from staking the money. But yeah, again, it probably is a bit of a hurdle for some people to stake their money up until the 9th of March for 3 months. I am hoping that they might change that up a little bit and they come up with different staking pools, maybe different amounts of APY. The longer you stake it, the higher the APY, but also give people an option to stake it for a shorter period amount of time, right? That would make a lot of sense, because I do believe that some people aren't investing into a launchpad like KingPad because of the long duration of staking. Now, we don't have a whole lot of information, as we said before, yet. So how do we know, or how can we know what type of results to expect? We can do two things. We can go to Memebet, which is obviously run by Eclipse, the same guy that is now running KingPad, and we can look at the results that you had at Memebet. Let's take a look at 3 of them. So if you can see that there's a lot of different meme projects here. One of them is called Meme Wars. One of them obviously has a dog on it. Elon Musk is in the name. Doge is in the name from Dogecoin. A lot of these projects are kind of based around the meme that is going on of the projects that are doing really well, based around Elon Musk, Shiba, based around Dogecoin, right? The problem I found with these projects is, if we just take a couple of examples, the problem I found with these projects is that there's a lot of hype around them at the start, but they don't have any utility, or they don't bring any difference. They don't really make any difference in the world. They don't really bring anything new up to the market. So eventually, when the hype dies out around it, the coin dies along with it as well. So you can definitely tell the exact same thing going on with, for example, Meme Wars, which was one of my most successful trades that I did on Memebet. Now, at a certain period with Memebet, I had like I think it was a 200x, like a ridiculous amount of gain. And the amount of money that I was able to put in was pretty decent. So I think I earned, with an initial investment of $40, I earned multiple thousands of dollars of profit. but I wasn't able to take it out straight away because there's always a certain vesting period. Now the vesting period means that you're able to take out a portion of your investment at the start, and then they spread out the rest of it over an X amount of couple of months. That depends on the project. With the gaming scene, I'm totally fine with waiting. Why? Is because there's utility behind the project. The gaming, the game itself will probably be developed over time, so there's more and more attention coming towards the game. I'm gonna assume that sure, there might be a peak at the start of a new crypto game come up, but over time, if the project is solid, then it's gonna turn out to be a pretty good long-term investment. With all these meme projects, that's not really the case. So far, what I've done is I just took out, as soon as I was able to get my portion out, I sold it straight away, took my profit and put that profit into something else again. You can see that exact thing, what I'm mentioning, happening here with Meme Wars. If we look at another one, which is Tribe X, similar story. You can tell right now, sure, the game was pretty solid at the start, but you can tell there's no long-term hold in here, there's no long-term gain in it. It's purely based on the initial game at the start. Then we look at one more. Let's go for one that I did as well. Let's go for the very first one, Elon Dodge. So Elon Dodge was the first one. Let's see, where is it? The first one done by Meme Wars. That's this one. There was a massive gain at the all-time high. Like you would have had 100x plus, but again, here you can tell like the amount of gain on it at the start was ridiculous. But you're never able to take 100% of your investment out. So if you can take 100% of the investment out, awesome. It's like a pump and dump, and you just gain and you get out straight away. Usually not the case, so you can tell it slowly dies out, and the vesting that you get 1, 2, 3 months later is not really worth anything. So we do hope to see a bit of a difference with the KingPad. Why? Because there's going to be a lot more utility behind the tokens because it's a crypto game, right? But overall, Memebet itself did pretty well as a launchpad. Then another thing we can look at is the gaming scene, because it's going to be a crypto game. Now, we already know that there's more launchpads out there that do gaming, right? What we can do is go to categories. If I'm going a little bit too quick about how to explain things about different type of launchpads, what to look for, etc. In one of my previous videos, I explained the top 3 IDOs and what to look for, or launchpads, and what to look for when participating in IDOs. Definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button and bell notification to make sure you're notified on new videos coming up. Plus, go and watch the previous videos to upskill and educate yourself a little bit more on not just one specific launchpad, but launchpad overall. So what we do is here on CoinMarketCap, we go to categories and then we go and find launchpad, right? Let's see, we go and find the actual launchpad. Here it is. So launchpad, you can see the top gainer right now is Memebet, which is funny. They didn't announce a new project to come up for a couple of days or even a week. Now they announced their first project again, and you can tell this straight away goes up. So we go to Launchpad. Here you can see all the different launchpads available, right? Let's take up a couple of ones that we find on the crypto gaming scene. Here, the top one, UFO Gaming, has a market cap of over $500 million, almost 600,000. Then you have Seedify, the one that I talked about a lot, almost 300 million market cap. GameFi, one of the most well-known one as well, 150 million. So what can we tell by just picking out 3 of them? Here you have another one, Game Zone, that's a newer one, a smaller one, already at 40 million market cap. So what can we tell by that is that there's a lot of potential, a lot of growth left as an actual launchpad for KingPad. Obviously makes sense because they're brand new, they haven't started yet, they haven't done an IGO yet. So if they're gonna take out, or if they're gonna do the good projects, if they're gonna come up with the bigger projects, the bigger games that actually grow over time, there's gonna be a lot of attention come to KingPad as a project, and we know that it's gonna be doing very well. So one thing that is very, very important for KingPad is that they have to come up with a very good, successful first launch, because that way they kind of build up a little bit of trust, they build up a little bit of belief with people investing in it. Plus, it's going to get a lot more new people come towards KingPad, right? If you invest in KingPad, you want to make sure, or you kind of want the coin token to go up in price, because you don't just want to gain from the IGOs you participate in or the APY that you get, you also want to gain from the token itself, right? One thing I've noticed that if you do decide to participate in KingPad and you stake it, usually on the 8th of March, when you're able to take it out again, there's going to be a massive drop in the price, because a lot of people will take profit, at least for a while. They might get in again a little bit later, but a lot of people usually take profit when it's time to unstake. So if you know that you're going to, participate in KingPad and you know that you're going to be unstaking on the 8th of March, in my opinion, I would definitely take it out straight away, take my profit, and then eventually when I want to participate in it again, or when I want to restake it, or when the price is a little bit lower, I find a good entry point and I get in again, right? You can assume that they're going to come up with multiple tier systems over time when they do start growing, and they're going to get more expensive tier systems. Or it's just going to mean that to get in the higher tier that is available now, King, it's just going to be a lot more difficult. Now, you never really know. Over time, maybe they're going to come up with multiple tier systems, right? They might add another 1, 2, 3, 4, even more tiers, or not. But we're gonna think in a way that eventually the price of KingPad is going to go up towards $10, $15, maybe even $20. Over time, it could potentially go to $50 or $100 in a good case scenario. What does that mean for your initial investment? If you become part of the biggest tier now for $7,500, and KingPad is actually going to go up to $50 per coin, then your investment that you put in of $7,500 is going to be worth $75,000, right? And there's even more upside potential left after that. Why do some people have a higher tier allocation in, a Seedify, for example, that I talked about a couple of times? Not because they invest $100 or $1.3 million that you have to invest right now in the highest tier. No, it's because they were part of it all the way at the start. Probably invest a couple of thousand, maybe $10, $20, $30,000, and they just grew along with the coin. And now their $10, $20, $30,000 investment is worth 1.3 million, which goes for the highest tier. Something similar can always happen to a new Launchpad. You never really know, but the potential is always there. It all depends on what type of projects are they gonna bring in, how are the launches being, organized, and are these projects over time actually gonna do really well. But yeah, the potential is there, right? So far, what do we know? It is still pretty cheap to participate in KingPad. We're all the way at the start. There hasn't been a single launch yet, so it is very excited to see what the first launch is gonna be like. But they are involved in the crypto gaming scene, so that means that there's a big bonus or a big positive in there at least already, right? So I'm excited to see what KingPad is going to do. I'm definitely going to be a part of it myself. Please let me know if you guys are part of KingPad or not. What do you guys think, if you want to get in it or not? And if you kind of feel like you agree with the tier system they have in place now with the staking for 3 months, because that's, to me, the only one kind of like negative side of it, I guess, that I have to stake it for 3 months. Other than that, I'm pretty optimistic about what they're gonna bring. So if you guys have any other launchpads you want me to go over, or any launchpads that you believe are doing really well, please let me know in the comments below, because I'm always looking for new opportunities or new things to research. Other than that, if you haven't participated in the weekly giveaway that I'm doing, there's a link below in the description where you can win $100 in Bitcoin every single week. So if you haven't done that, definitely do make sure. And if you want to stay up to date with all the new videos that I come up with, hit the subscribe button. Please hit the bell notification so you get notified from all the new videos coming up. And I will see you guys in the next video.